Now at 5, new details in the case of a missing Putnam County woman found last night. I'm Jenna Webster in Bainbridge. How the community is reacting coming up.
Coming back to Indiana, the redistricting talks expected to happen with the vice president here in Indy tomorrow.
And how Hoosiers are even feeling when it comes to redrawing the state congressional maps.
And it's another chance of some patchy frost before we see the temperatures warm back up. I'll let you know just how warm we'll be through the weekend. Live from Indy, you're watching 13 News.
Now to our top story tonight at 5. People in Putnam County say they are breathing a sigh of relief after this woman here, Brittany Gard, was found safe.
Emergent responders found her last night after they were looking for her for a week. It's also after what they called a suspicious fire at her house.
Jenna Webster explains what we know so far about this investigation.
The Putnam County Sheriff says they found Brittany Gard here at the Hall Woods Nature Preserve. They say about 5:30 Wednesday night she called 911 saying she needed help getting out of the woods. How long she was here, why she was here, are questions we just don't really have answers to right now. In a town of 700, people say they tend to feel safe.
It's peaceful, it's quiet. You don't worry too much. You always worry about your kids, but but we just don't hear, of things out here like that. Yeah, it's very unusual.
Sharon Clodfelter says since the news of missing Brittany Gard, the last week had her feeling nervous.
You wonder, is there somebody still out there?
The 46-year-old mom was last heard from September 30th, but the next day her home was on fire. One investigators called suspicious.
Thank you so much. You have a great afternoon.
At Pizza King, missing person flyers were sent out on pizza boxes.
We were told that someone was possibly inside. Search teams did a search. No one was inside, and then that's when we found out that she was missing, and everything just kind of unraveled.
Kyle DeLong is a Bainbridge volunteer firefighter who responded to Gard's house. His dad and brother responded to the nature preserve Wednesday night after Gard called 911. The location just 2.5 miles away from her house.
Sigh of relief that, okay, she's great, she's found, she's alive.
He says as far as he knows, the cause of the fire at her house is still under investigation. The Putnam County Sheriff says they're not looking for any persons of interest and there is no threat to anyone.
Still a little scary.
Clodfelter says all she could do the last week was pray. It's a week she couldn't imagine happening to her own family.
You've kept on it until they did find her. Very proud of you for doing that. Yeah, and God bless you.
But for all the relief this small town feels for a safe outcome, questions remain about what exactly happened this last week. In Bainbridge, Jenna Webster, 13 News.
The Putnam County Sheriff says the case is still under investigation. We'll continue to share updates as we learn more.
Happening tomorrow, Vice President J.D. Vance is returning to Indianapolis.
And he's expected to meet with members of the Republican Senate caucus about redistricting. Our partners at the Capitol Chronicle report they have not been able to come to an agreement when it comes to redrawing congressional maps.
So this is the VP's second trip to Indy in just 2 months. The Indiana Democratic Party issuing a statement today ahead of the VP's arrival. It says in part, quote, Republicans are incredibly scared of facing the voters in the midterm elections in just a year's time. They know that Hoosiers and Americans are feeling the pressure from rising health care premiums, shrinking child care options, and tariff taxes raising costs and putting family farms in danger. So our State House reporter Emily Longnecker has closely been following this debate about redrawing the voting lines, and she's been doing this for months now.
She joins us now in studio. Emily?
Yeah, I talked with an IU political science professor today who told me he thinks the fact that the vice president is coming back for the second time in 2 months shows that the administration is concerned about the 2026 midterm elections. And this is a way to put pressure, he said, on Indiana to get what the president wants done, to call a special session to redraw the maps. This debate over redistricting really heated up in Indiana with the vice president's first visit here in early August. He met with the governor and Republican leaders in both chambers and discussed redistricting. We know it came up again later that month when 80 or so Republican lawmakers traveled to Washington to meet with the Trump administration, including the vice president. Lawmakers who were in those meetings told me there was no arm twisting when the topic of redistricting came up. They say the message was more, this is important to retain control of the House to continue President Trump's agenda. Since that time, we've seen some lawmakers go from a hard no to a yes, or at least to being open about considering a special session. But many more have not spoken publicly about where they stand. One political science expert told me today that this visit by the vice president could create a real challenge for Republican lawmakers.
I think it puts a lot of the Indiana Republicans in a tough place. They touted this map when they adopted it 3-4 years ago as being a very fair map. And now if they're going to change it in redistricting, it's going to be clear they're only doing it because of pressure from the president and the vice president. And I don't think any politician, regardless of party, regardless of position, likes to look like they're under the thumb of somebody else. So they're supposed to be responsive to the voters, not some other politician.
A new poll of voters was released today. It found of 604 Hoosiers surveyed, 53% opposed redistricting with 34% supporting it. That survey was commissioned by Independent Indiana, a nonprofit that works on getting more independent candidates elected in Indiana. And that survey asked some other questions beyond redistricting, and we'll look at those questions and those answers coming up tonight at 6.
Okay, Emily, thank you for sharing that.
Okay.
All right.
Angela's off. Rob is in right now. We got a frost advisory issued for central Indiana tonight. We had it to the north yesterday, but it's kind of dropped down a little bit.
Oh, and it sounds like it could dip a little bit more. Hey, Rob.
Yeah, I think we're actually going to get just a couple of degrees cooler than where we were this morning for tomorrow morning. The good news is, though, if you're not maybe ready for some of that fall weather just yet, I think this is going to be the coolest night of our 7-day forecast. So let me show you where we were early this morning. Temperatures were in the 40s for most of you. A couple of 30s showing up though on the grid. 36 for Muncie and for Kokomo. I expect that these temperatures will get a little bit cooler than that, than the 44 for sure. Here's a couple of reasons why. One, yesterday we made it into the 70s, just barely, but we made it there. Today we're stuck in the 60s, so we're already a little bit cooler to start out. Once we drop the sunshine, the temperatures are going to drop pretty quickly, and I expect we'll zoom through those 50s. We'll end up into the 40s even before midnight, and from there it'll stay in the 40s during the overnight and likely pick up some 30s across the area. So 41, my expected low temperature for Indy. Keep in mind there's going to be a lot of variability, especially if this wind calms down. If it goes down to calm completely, we're going to have a lot of that cooler air settle into some locations, and some patchy frost is going to be possible, especially in those areas that dip into the 30s. And keep in mind, the air temperature at 2 meters, which is what we measure here, doesn't have to be at 32. It just has to be that area right close to the surface where a little bit of patchy frost can develop, and that's why the National Weather Service has extended those frost advisories to include a good portion of Indy, the Marion County, the metro. Not quite the southern areas just yet. After this, we expect to warm back up. I'll talk about that warming trend in our forecast. Have it for you coming up.
All right, Rob, thank you so much. The state of Indiana is now just hours away from the second death row execution of 2025.
Roy Ward is set to die before sunrise tomorrow morning at the state prison in Michigan City. Ward has withdrawn the final 2 federal lawsuits seeking to delay the execution.
He's been on death row for years now after a judge sentenced him to death for the rape and murder of this young lady. This is 15-year-old Stacy Payne. She died in southern Indiana back in 2001. A celebration tonight for 95 new American citizens after a naturalization ceremony out at our airport.
Take a look. So the new citizens came from 42 different countries, and they gathered in Civic Plaza with their family and friends as well as state leaders to be sworn in as U.S. citizens.
We got a chance to catch up with one of them, Paulina Osherov, and she tells us she is originally from Russia, but she also is an Australian citizen. And she's been a Hoosier for about 20 years, she says, serving as the Indiana Creative Economy Champion and the Executive Director of Pattern Inc.
Love Indiana, love Indianapolis, love this airport. The people here are amazing. And I've really just kind of gotten my footing as a contributor to society here, all the things that I've been able to do and all the ways that I've been able to work in this community to make it better.
Love that. Polina tells us she's also been dating an American for a very long time, and now they officially are engaged.
Oh, that's cool. By the way, this is the second naturalization ceremony the airport has held. The first was last November. I love those stories. All right, happening now, a chance to get a free flu shot.
This is the time to do it, and Meridian Health Services is hosting this flu shot clinic at its locations across the state. Going on now until 6 o'clock tonight, so it's 5:10, you gotta go. But the thing is, you don't need insurance and you don't have to be a current Meridian Health patient to go get the flu shot.
Just head to their location, the one nearest to you. No appointment is needed.
Also, we want to let you know that we really would love for you to join us as we celebrate our annual Coats for Kids campaign.
So we partner with the Salvation Army every year for the drive, and right now there's a big need for small, medium, and large kids coats. You can help by dropping off new or gently used coat at any Classic Cleaners location now through October 25th. And if you do not have a coat to donate, but you want to help, you can donate cash as well.
Yep, and then we'll go do the shopping for you. We place all the ways that you can help, even volunteer on Distribution Day and Organization Day on WTHR.com/coats.
It's 5:10 this Thursday. We've got more news ahead. Seeking peace in the Middle East. It now appears to be closer to reality between Israel and Hamas. The question still remaining about the plan and when hostages could be released. Ahead at 5:30.
But first here at 5, strangers to the rescue. The first responders who needed their help after a helicopter came down and slammed onto the highway. Also, the National Guard now spotted near Chicago,
where these troops are patrolling and the court hearing questioning their deployment.